יש רחוב הבר.
This is the book I wrote on the conjugation of Hebrew vowels, Hebrew verbs. Sorry, this is a book which is enables person to learn how to conjugate the Hebrew verbs without learning grammar, and that's the Hebrew English version. So it has an index of almost 4,000 verbs. With a number referring to the particular table. You go to that table and you've got your conjugation. So you don't have to learn the grammar. Alright, that's just enough as an introduction. Well, we'll get a couple of... Using the East End and using the 1,000 years of Jewish life in Europe, in enclaves, as you mentioned, in ghettos which were forced upon them, or in communities, in congregations, is an obvious explanation of the need for Jews to want to live together. The fact that they want to pursue a collective religion or faith or set of customs. The fact that they believe very much in the education of children from a very early age. The fact that they need each other for the various welfare institutions that Jews always put up wherever they had a congregation. The assistance to the needy, the visiting to hospitals, the helping of the bride who hasn't sufficient money to get married, the provision of the home, the question of kashrut, and so on, always was at the base of the fact that Jews wanted to be with other Jews together. They had a common history. They had a common denominator. They had a common language. They at one time had a common country where they established themselves as an entity. And they wanted to retain that, even dispersed all over the world. They still wanted to retain that love and that hope that one day they will come back to that entity and be a country and a nation once again. They called it Jerusalem. They said at Pesach, always at the end of the Seder, next year we will celebrate in Jerusalem. Not that they believed that it would be possible, but that was the slogan, that was the hope, that was the thing, the flag that they carried everywhere. Apart from the fact that their persecutors made always sure that Jews were always congregated in one area so that they could control them, so that they could utilize them, so that they could exploit them. It wasn't only a Jewish trend or a Jewish need to be together with other Jews in a congregation, to build a synagogue, to build a mikveh, or that. It was also a pressure from the outside, from the church, and eventually from the governments of countries that created the same situation. What it didn't allow at any point in that long diaspora was for Jews to be able to defend themselves. And here we come to the climax, where a devastation, a Holocaust, which perhaps was the greatest tragedy, the greatest piece of genocide that the world has ever seen in the world history, has reminded the Jews that the time has come not to remain that type of person who will submit, who will subject himself, who will agree with the authorities, who will accept the decree of the authorities, but will stand up and fight for his life and the life of his family and his congregation. And so Zionism foresaw this need that here in our own country, with the elements around us and with the growing antipathy that you mentioned before, we would need to be also able to defend ourselves to the best of our ability, so that these pogroms, these persecutions, these limitations and these attempts at genocide would never happen again.